He will be one of you. He is a blue-collar guy. He wants to win. He will do everything he can to try to turn that franchise around.
Great pass catcher, basketball background, athletic. He's got great length, tremendous catch radius. He will be a real factor.
6'4", 270. He sets a physical edge in the run game. Violent hands. Impacts the quarterback in the pass game.
With the first pick in the DML draft, the Houston Texans select
Yo, what's going on, fellas? It's your boy Bucky the Bus Brooks, and I'm here with Bruce Kuiper, man. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing today, Bucky?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Hey, we coming to you live from Atlanta, home of the 2024 Combine and host city for the 2024 DML Draft. As you guys know, the draft takes place tonight on the DML network at 5 Eastern. So please tune in. Now, the Combine concluded last night, and we have some spectacular numbers, man, from some of these prospects that's coming into the DML for this season. We had a few guys, man, that came in and, you know, did well, and we had a few guys that came in where we thought they could have performed a lot better than what their numbers showed. What did you think about the Combine numbers that you saw as it concluded last night, Bruce?
Well, I thought that the Combine solidified this as probably one of the deeper drafts that we've had in the DML this cycle. There's going to be a lot of people happy that are picking on the back end. This is definitely, I think, one of the years of the quarterback as well. And not that I jump ahead, but Griffin Austin is who we thought he was. So.
Gotcha. So this is a new setup that we're doing for this mock draft, man. What you're going to see here today, you're actually going to see my picks and Mr. Bruce Kuiper's. This is something new that we're bringing to you. You get to see the inside of our thoughts and how we view these team selections with these new rookies coming into the DML. So, without a doubt, man, let's go ahead and get this draft started. So, with the first pick, man, we got the Buffalo Bills, and this is a pick that me and Bruce Kuiper had the same, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have. We got the Bills selecting wide receiver Griffin Austin out of Tennessee, and Mr. Kuiper, man, this guy can do it all. I mean, he's fast, he's agile, he can catch, and after the Combine finished last night, man, the dude put up a 4.30 seconds. This is fast, especially compared to the other wide receivers in the draft. When you look at his 40 time, he has the fastest 40 time. What do you think about Griffin Austin, man?
Man, KP, I want to say that he, like I said, he's exactly who we thought he was going to be when we did our first mocks. Him running that 4.30 solidifies him going first. And hey, my boy over there in Buffalo, man, this is easy as it can be. Just go to your draft board. He should already be number one. Press X 2 times and you straight. It's that cut and dry. Like you said, this guy can do it all. He tested exactly like he needed to be the first overall pick for a team that needs a wide receiver. So, you know, you got any more thoughts on him, Bucky?
Man, I really like this guy coming out of Tennessee, man. As you know, he played in one of the top college conferences, man, and that's the SEC. As you notice, I said one of the top. I think right now the ACC is kind of taking over, being as the number one conference in college football. But Griffin Austin can play anywhere, man. He's going to be that guy that stretches the field. He can go underneath. He comes in a little small at 5'11", 187, but I've seen
Right.
numerous footage of him going across the middle, being able to protect his body and take those big hits that those safeties and linebackers may deliver once he comes across the middle. So if the Bills doesn't take this guy, man, we may need to look at getting a new owner down there in Buffalo. But Griffin Austin is that guy that he should definitely take. So let's keep moving on, man. Coming in with the second pick, we got the Minnesota Vikings, and we both have him going quarterback, and that's with Reed Qatari from Ohio State. Explain why you have the Vikings taking Bakari versus the other quarterbacks in the draft.
Well, Bucky, me and the Vikings, we usually hang out when, this time of year at the combine. We talk, getting at each other's heads, him being from the NFC, me being from the AFC. And last year, I talked to him after they made the Hubbard deal, and he wanted to step out of his comfort zone because usually he doesn't play with scrambling quarterbacks. So he tried it, and as we mentioned on the last mock, it wasn't going so well. He was almost leading the league in interceptions, and he wanted to get back to the basics, man. He wants to go back with a stand in the pocket. Let's make some reads. Let our line be linemen, not have to worry about you scrambling out of the pocket type quarterback. Reed Qatari is that guy. He's got the throw power. He's shown that he was very accurate. He finished with throwing for 3,800 yards and 36 touchdowns at Ohio State this year. It's what the Vikings need to get back to where they want to be. So, he's also a strong kid too. He actually finished second in bench press for quarterbacks, and it's he's a field general. He's a leader. He's just your prototypical QB at 6'5", 231. But you had him pick 2, Buck. So what made you have him go at 2 over some of these other guys as well?
I'm gonna tell you what I had initially, man. Initially, I had the Vikings taking the big guy, Jack Huntington. But when I looked over some of my notes and my research and went back and looked at some film, I felt like Reed Qatari was the best guy for the Minnesota Vikings. As you mentioned before, he's a field general. He has the throwing power, and he seems to be the most accurate out of all the quarterbacks that performed at the combine last night. Jake was a little off, but Reed Qatari hit every throw that he was asked to give. As you said, man, he's a strong guy. He comes in, he finished with 24 reps on the bench press. So maybe that explains why, he has that A- throwing power, man. But dude has a cannon.
Right.
He's very accurate. I'm just interested to see how he fits into that system with the Minnesota Vikings coming out of Ohio State, where they did a lot of, some read options. They didn't really run that pro style offense that we expected, since they have a new offensive coordinator down there, man. But I think with the right coaching, right system, Reed Qatari will be an excellent quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. So we gonna keep it moving, man. And we coming in with the third pick, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're staying on that same side of the ball, and we have them selecting Ben Martinez out of Alabama. Once again, we both have the same pick, so we must be thinking alike. Ben Martinez comes out of Alabama, that SEC conference. This is another quarterback that I think might do well in Tampa Bay, but he's going through a lot. He's gone through a lot of quarterbacks in the last few seasons, so I think he's hoping Ben Martinez comes in and saves the day for the Bucs. Now, Mr. Kuiper, what do you like about Ben?
Sir.
What do you don't like about Ben Martinez?
Well, what I don't like about Ben Martinez is inaccuracy issues. He has made some plays at one of the top 2 colleges in America. He's at Alabama, man, right? The past couple years it's been Alabama and Clemson up at the top. Yeah, you have Oregon here and there and some other teams stepping in, but it's the blue bloods of this century anyway. And Ben Martinez never won a national championship at Alabama, partially because of his inaccuracy of missing his guys. Now, what I do like about him, or what makes him one of my favorite quarterbacks of this draft, is just his athleticism is off the charts. Like, he reminds me of a reincarnation of Michael Vick on how he breaks sacks when you watch the film on him. Now, he doesn't have the arm of Vick, but I feel like he throws better under pressure. He's just a little more polished in the pocket than Vick was. And, he's a strong guy. He had a good 3-cone and a good 20-yard shuttle. I think that his intangibles, that, what he has, where he's played at, he's played in big games. He hasn't won a big game, but his intangibles and his athleticism still kind of override that inaccuracy part. But, what do you not like about him, Buck?
Man, there's not too much that I don't like about him. I think the only thing that really throws up a red flag for me is the fact that he's coming out of Bama. And if you look at the history of Bama quarterbacks, they haven't really excelled in the DML. The DML is a league that you have to have a legit quarterback to try to compete in this league. Ben he's a very good athlete, but I just don't know if he will be able to make that transition from the college, scene to the DML and the bright lights. You know what I'm saying? He comes in at 6 foot 219. He's a young guy. He's a scrambler. So, and he'll be facing Atlanta. They have those two Zach brothers down there. So he does have the speed to get away from those guys, but he's going to have to learn how to stay in the pocket, man, and hit those receivers and running backs in the flats in order for him to excel and Tampa Bay to get back on the winning side of things, man. But I think Ben Martinez he'll be okay. He just has to get in the right system. So let's see what happens if he does get drafted by the Bucks. So now we move on to the AFC, and this is the Tennessee Titans, and this is probably one of my favorite picks in the draft. And this is guys from Oklahoma, and it's Taco Chanasa. Man,
Big Taco.
Taco Chanasa, I think, is probably the second best player in the draft overall. And of course, the number one player is Griffin Austin. But Taco, he can do it all, man. And he can play some ball because he's coming down there from Oklahoma, and that's a winning tradition down there with the Oklahoma Sooners. But with Taco Chanasa, man, I see him being able to stay on the field at all times. He's a guy, he can hit, he can tackle, he has the power moves. Now, the question is, where do you play him? To me, he's like a tweener. He can play the outside linebacker, but he can also play the DN in a 4-3 scheme. So, how do you think the Titans will play Taco Chanasa if he's drafted at number 4?
I think Taco, like you said, his versatility is crazy. At 6'5", 240-something pounds, man. And I think he's going to play him standing up, just so you can use him, man. Like, like y'all say, man, I'm going to give out a little free chicken. Man, Titans, using him, get a couple picks, get you a pick 6 here, get you some sacks, get this man the AFC Rookie of the Year, man. And this dude will be one of the best players in the DML. I mean, Bucky, did you see the combine? Did you see what he threw up on the bench?
Yeah.
Man, 34 reps and ran a 4.62.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And with that vert too, and the broad jump, he is going to be an athletic specimen. But just like you said, he is kind of in that tweener stage to where, is he a little too light to play in? I think he'd be fine if you wanted to put him in the, on the line. But I think you're going to maximize his potential standing up, putting him in different situations. But
okay, so you say standing up, man, which means you like to see him in a 3-4.
Yes, sir. 3-4 outside linebacker.
3-4 outside linebacker. I say put his hand in the dirt and 4-3 and let him get out to the quarterback. But if he goes to Tennessee, he's going to have some great guys to learn from. Remember last year, the Tennessee Titans drafted Barry Eccles from Tennessee, who's another guy that Taco Chanasa can learn from. So, and they also have the veteran down there, Rashad Evans. So these two guys can actually help Taco Chanasa learn whatever position that he needs, if he's going to be at DN or if he's going to be standing up in the 3-4 versus the other AFC counterparts. But Taco Chanasa will be a guy that we will always remember, not only because of his name, but because of what he does on and off the field. So let's move on to pick 5, and this is where we get a little a different side of how I think and how Mr. Kuiper thinks. Now, I have the Steelers taking the Lion King, Mustafa Thompson from Stanford. Hey, he has the second best name. Or you could say first. I don't know whose name is better, Taco Chanasa or Mustafa. But either way it goes, Mustafa Thompson will be a beast in the league for the Steelers. Now, as we all know, the Steelers still have Le'Veon Bell running the ball, but man, you can't keep Mustafa off the field, man. I think you gotta, give the pigskin to Mustafa, man, and let Bell become that backup running back. When you look at Mustafa, he's the number 1 back in this class. He came out with 29 reps, so he's the strongest back. He got the highest broad jump, which, I think that comes into play if you have a very inaccurate quarterback throwing them high balls or whatever, but he's not looking to do. He's looking to run you over and move the chains. So I think Mustafa out of Stanford will be a great running back, man. He always falls forward, from what I see from the tape. Now, the competition in that league or in that conference wasn't as stout as we would like, but if he's talented, he can play anywhere. So now I got him taking Mustafa. You got him taking the halfback Rashad Allen from Florida State. Explain why we have a difference here, and why do you like Rashad Allen versus Mustafa?
Now, Bucky, let me start it off by saying that I love the Lion King, and if I was in this spot, I would take the Lion King. But this player, I'm very familiar with my division mate, and I just know he's not going to take him because he runs a 4.64. Like, I feel like that's going to be the first thing he sees, and he's going away from that. Plus, I feel like he already might think he has a power back in JT, the guy he was running with last year when Bill got hurt. So that's why I don't think Mufasa goes there. Mufasa's a top 5 talent. I totally agree with the way you're thinking. But going in the side of the mind of my division mate, I don't see him going there. And I see him going running back. And I think it's going to be Rashard Allen. Simply because Allen didn't have probably as dominant elbow combining areas. But if you look at his card, he ran a 4.49. He benched 24 reps. He was 6th in that. He was 4th in the 20-yard shuttle at a 4.12. And his 3-cone was good, too. He had a 6.9 flat, which put him 6th. So, and plus, with the way Flair plays, I just see it more of a team fit. Like, he has a need, so he's looking at players, and I feel like Mufasa just doesn't really fit his game plan. So, like, Rashard Allen played at Florida State, and, man, he was productive. He was a guy that ran for 1,200 yards and caught had over 500 receiving yards on the year, man. So, I just got to go with Rashard Allen. I think it's a better fit for player, but I do think the Lion King is the best back in this draft.
Okay. So you like Rashard Allen from Florida State, and I like Mustafa. Those are 2 different running styles, but I think either running back will benefit the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would really like to see him replace Bell with the same type back, but maybe he thinks Bell has a few more years and he goes with the more receiving and agile back in Rashad Allen, and he has that little 1-2 punch where Bell can probably stay on the field first and second down, and he puts Rashad Allen in there on the third down that can probably run some wheel routes, and hopefully Rashad Allen can improve his blocking. That's one red flag that I saw with Rashad Allen during the tape, where he didn't pick up the blitzes as good as Mustafa did. So that's one area that Rashad Allen probably needs to improve in. So let's keep moving on, man, to the 6th pick, and that's where we have the Dallas Cowboys. I have them going Ollie Richards from Georgia. Now, the Cowboys could go either direction here. But I think with Ollie Richards, it gives him a new dimension in the secondary. Ollie Richards out of Georgia. They have him slated as a slot cornerback, but I potentially think he can be a 1 or a slot. But if I'm drafting you in the first round, I'm not having you play a slot. I'm having you on the field at all times, so you can show me your value and why I drafted you with the 6th overall pick. Ollie comes out of the SEC. He ran a 4.5 in the 40. Now, these are 2 stat lines that I like. His vert jump was 41.3, which was first. Broad jump was first as cornerback. He has the 2nd best 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. So not only can he jump, he's quick, he's agile, he can move his hips. He's not a very stiff cornerback that we normally see out of Georgia. I think Ollie Richards will be that guy that can take. Well, I'm not gonna say take them over the top. I think Ollie Richards can give them at least 2 or 3 extra wins during the season. Now, we both stayed on the defensive side of the ball, but you went in the trenches, and you have him taking Carol Buggs from Texas A&M. What do you like, and what stood out about Carol Buggs, and why does he fit this Dallas Cowboys team?
Well, but the reason why it's fit is because if you go to his roster, he don't even have a left hand. So that's you got to fill a hole right there, need-wise. Now, I like your pick with Ollie, man. I do. Ollie really showed out at the combine. But I think Carol Buggs, with his numbers, I think he just solidified the fact that he was supposed to belong in the top 5. But I think he'll slip out of there. But he's coming in with something to prove. Like I said before, he reminds me of Von Miller. I mean, same school, same build. Von even worked with him. And if you look at his combine, he had a bench press of 35 reps, and he had a 40-yard dash off of 4.72. And those were both second at his position. And his 3-cone was a 7.26, which was third at his position. And he has all the production. He's got the size. It's just, if he's from Texas, it's just a match made in heaven. He doesn't even have to go that far from College Station to Dallas. His family will come watch him play. I think Jerry Jones is going to knock this one out of the park, and they're going to grab him. It just makes too much sense here, but for me. But we'll see. We'll see. It's H-Bo, so we don't know. We'll see. He might go and get a receiver with a 3rd-round grade or something, just because he's fast. So
yeah, the owner of the Cowboys, he tends to make some ridiculous draft picks and transactions, but I like Carol Buggs. As you mentioned, he doesn't have a DN on the team at the moment, so that could be a dead giveaway of where the Cowboys are going, and that would be with Carol Buggs. So let's keep it moving, man. We're gonna move right on to the 7th overall pick, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, we both had them addressing the O-line, but we just went with 2 different sides and 2 different conferences. I got him taking Adrian Thornhill out of Oregon. Now, I like Thornhill because if you look at the system that Oregon runs, their old linemen are very agile because they do a lot of pulling, a lot of misdirection, and I think this guy fits the Bengals because of the style of play. Adrian Thornhill is most people might compare him to Kasheem Stewart and say he's below him, but based on combine, he comes in as the #1 offensive lineman in this DML draft. He was first in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle. I wish his bench press would have been a little more. It was 33. I expect him to be a lot stronger, but he'll beef up wherever he goes. If he goes to Bengals, he'll beef up a little bit. So I like Adrian Thornhill for the Bengals, coming in at 6'6", 316. Let's move on to your pick, where you went with the Bama guy, Kasheem Stewart. What makes Stewart and Thornhill so different, but Stewart better?
Well, in my opinion, Buck, I have to say the number that stuck out to me is the 4.81 on that 40. Now, a lot of people be like, "Oh man, does that speed really matter?" Well, if you put him at guard, you'd like to do some pulling guard action, because I think he tracks better as a guard than he tracks as a tackle. I think with that speed, you just he's got Ivory Matthews, man. Just give Ivory Matthews the ball, get him a lead blocker, and I think Kasheem Stewart is that guy. But he could also play tackle. But I think that, yes, Thornhill is the better tackle. I will agree with you at that. But I think the career track will be better for Kasheem Stewart as a lineman if he gets a chance to move to guard. Because he has all the right tools, all the right numbers for him to play guard. And his bench press was higher than Thornhill too, which is another reason why I like him on the inside, because he's dealing, he did 38 reps.
38 reps.
He's going to come in with probably like a 94 strength.
Right, 38 reps. And then Thornhill did 33.
He's going to deal with those interior D linemen, man, and that's what you need.
Gotcha. So basically what you're saying is you think Kasheem Stewart is a better overall, more versatile O-lineman, because not only can he play tackle, he can move on the inside and play guard as well. And you mentioned his 40, which is 4.81. So when you move him to guard, he's able to get to the second level and maybe lock up with one of those linebackers, or even plow down a strong safety that may be coming in his way. Is that what you're saying here?
Yes, sir. 100%. You hit all the points.
Okay. So Stewart is a more versatile, and he will have more. He could have more longevity because he's able to move to different positions. I see Thornhill as only a tackle, and that may be, but he's on that left tackle, which is the money side. He's protecting the quarter as blind side. So Stewart may be more versatile. Thornhill may get that bigger contract because of the position that he's playing. So let's move on to Denver Broncos, man. And they're coming in with the 8th pick. And I got them taking wide receivers Haynes Chamberlain out of the U. Now, this was probably one of the most disappointing combines that I've seen from a receiver as far as speed. Because when we think of the U, Mr. Kuiper, what do we think about?
Man, I think of the Mosses, man. I think of Devin Hester, man. I just think of speed.
So Chamberlain comes out of the U. He runs a 4.51. That's decent, but that's not what we are used to seeing from the U, man. When you talk about the Hesters, the Moss, the old Michael Irvin, even Shockey and Olsen, those guys were fast at their position. But
Kevin
when you got
Winslow.
Yes, Kevin Winslow. But when you got Haynes Chamberlain coming in at 4.51, he's a little bit on the slower side. But at the same time, if you see the last few top receivers that have came out of college into the DML, when you talk about the Rabes, what's the guy playing now for the Giants? I can't remember his name.
Big Bowman. Those guys are big guys who can go get the ball. Now, and I think that's why I like Haynes Chamberlain here. Now, the Broncos probably needed to go in a different direction, but I think when they see
these sexy picks, these wide receivers, these top running backs, I think he goes with Haynes Chamberlain right here. He can catch, he can run a short route, he got great release. He's mainly a possession guy, but if you let him catch the ball and make a move, he will get past you. So this is a guy I think could really excel in Denver, but he's going to have to get used to the different climates as well. Playing in Miami, we all know it's sunny, it rains a few times, but when you're in Denver, it could get very cold, and that humidity and that altitude, that could be a difference maker. So that's something that he's going to have to train for. So now let's move on to your pick, Mr. Kiper. You got him taking the right tackle, Vincent Talton from Auburn. What do you like about him?
There was just something about this kid, man. He was I remember seeing him on Rivals one day back when he was in high school, and he had only been playing football for 1 year. He originally was a basketball kid, but he gained a little bit of weight. And, football coach came in the gym and said, how about you come out here? So he played for a year, and you could just see that he was going to have it. And you can see by looking at his combine, he had a 4.89 40, which is good for a right tackle. His jump was really good. His broad jump was a 10-foot 1 inch, 3 cones, 7.44, and a 20-yard shuttle, all second in his position. And he is just an athlete. Now, this is another thing with him where I think he tracks better as a guard. And looking at the Broncos O-line, I felt like he needed a guard at this spot. I mean, and the one place he needed help the most was at offensive line. And, man, I just love this kid, man. He's put a lot of tape out there and really improved very quickly. And he's young. He's still 21. And he's only got 4 total years of football from high school and college. So his body's young. I feel like he's not going to get injured very much. And I just think his track is very similar to Stewart's. It was kind of hard for me not to put Thornhill here, but I just think that he's a better fit for the Broncos than Thornhill, in my opinion.
Okay, so your last 2 picks were offensive linemen, man. I like the Vincent Talton pick. I initially really wanted to have a lineman here, but I'm just looking at the reputation and the history of the Denver Broncos picking in the top 10. They never seem to go with what they need. They always pick those skill positions, either quarterback, running back, receiver. So we'll see if the Broncos prove me wrong here and prove you right with Vincent Talton. Now, let's move over to the Big Apple, and that's the New York Giants. Hey, this is another pick that me and you have that's identical, and that's middle linebacker Charles Welch from Wisconsin. And looking at the Giants roster, I think this is a need pick. The linebackers on this team now are not guys that you want taking the field when week 1 starts. But Charles Welch is your guy. He's the field general. He comes in at 5'11", 250, 21 years old, young guy. So he'll be in the league for a while. His best stat right now is his 40-yard dash, which comes in at a 4.75. I think that's pretty decent for a middle linebacker. It all depends on what you expect and what you want him to do. He can tackle. He can, get off the blocks and make those plays in the backfield that you need. He has great pursuit as well. What did you like about Charles Welch versus the other linebackers that participated at the combine?
Well, I think he's one of those guys, but when teams sat down with him and the Ravens sat down with him too, and this kid just knocks your socks off as far as coming off as a leader. He says all the right things. He probably made me the most comfortable as far as a guy that you don't have to worry about getting in trouble off the field than any other player at the combine. Now, I think, and just like you said, the leadership skills were just shown. You just sit in the room with him and you're like, okay, this kid's got it. This kid's got what it takes to be a field general on the defense. Now, when you look at his combine, I think he almost ran himself and tested himself almost out of the top 10 because yeah, he has all the production in college, and he says all the right things, but at the end of the day, you got to play on the field. And in the DML, man, I don't know if this 4.75 is something that the Giants are really going to want to jump at. I mean, it's a high need, and I think he kind of has to go there. But I think he's definitely probably a little disappointed in the combine as a whole. But I think if used correctly, Charles Welch can still be very productive. And if you're looking at this class as a whole, and especially in the first round, after you get past Taco, I mean, it's Welch, and it's just Taco and Welch for real. So I think that Gordon will be all right here. I think he'll come in and do fine with the Giants. It's just I know that Westside Pablo might go away from his need here just because of what he ran. But, hopefully he doesn't. I think Gordon will be a good player for him. But, we'll see at 5 Eastern today.
Yeah, I think this is a need. I think this is a pick that the Giants must make. The 40-yard dash doesn't really pop out as far as him being a speedster, but the guy plays quick on the field. You know what I'm saying? You can't always look at a guy's 40-yard dash because it's him running with no pads on, no equipment, and some guys are just play quicker on the field versus just running a straight line 40.
Right. He definitely could. There's definitely a lot of T-shirt All-Americans, like you said.
Right.
I agree with that.
So this is a guy that he plays quick on the field, and you'll see it in the film. So I think this would be a guy that the Giants really like if they decide to go there. So we're gonna round out the top 10 right now, and we got the Redskins coming in, and I have them going O-line, which is a need. This has been a need for the last few seasons for the Redskins, but I think this is the season where he finally addresses that need. And I'm going with your boy, Bruce Kuiper, Kasheem Stewart. You mentioned before, this guy is a very versatile lineman who can play all of the positions on the field. Now, where the Redskins put him, it won't even matter. He's going to come in and start day one. He's faced the top competition in college football with, working with, in the SEC. He blocked for, what's the quarterback out of Bama?
Ben Martinez.
Big Martinez. So, and Ben Martinez took less sacks this year than he has any other year. So I got him taking Kasheem Stewart. I think Kasheem Stewart comes in. They might even make this guy a captain right away. We don't see that normally with rookies coming in, but the guy's smart. He can play, and he's going to earn his paycheck every day. So now we're going to move on to your pick, and you got the guy that you like with going to the Redskins, and that's Mustafa Thompson. Explain it, man.
Hey, man, the Lion King. I want to hit it one time, before they do the circle of life there. Every time he spoke.
Yeah.
Every time he spoke, you got to hear it on the mic, bro.
Yes.
Mufasa, bro. Check this out, man. This is a no-brainer pick right here. Best running back in the draft. Just go get him. You mentioned all the numbers before earlier. It really ain't much to say. If Flair passes on him, this is a no-brainer, knock it out the park. Home run hit for the Redskins, man. Mufasa, the best back in this draft.
Hey, Mustafa is the best back in the draft. We got him going to the Redskins, and hopefully the Redskins draft either one of these guys that will help their offense. So that was a quick rundown of picks 1 through 10 for the current DML draft. Just remember, guys, the draft is being held today in Atlanta. It's at 5 o'clock. So make sure you guys tune in. But until next year, me and Bruce Kuiper, we will be here. We will be back with the top guys next year that's coming into the DML. It's never too early, so always watch out for an early mock draft coming from the Bus, Bucky the Bus, and Bruce Kuiper. On that note, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Congratulations to all the draftees coming out and who competed at the Combine. And we'll see where those guys go tonight in the draft at 5 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys. We're out.